Hello, I'm Alan, welcome to the Guitar Shack. So today's video is about a pair of Telecasters which one of my customers has recently bought and has dropped into me to do some preparation work for him before he gets them home and enjoys them. They're both Squier Silver series, so these are quite well sought after. They're made in Japan by Fujigen Corporation and they're quite highly regarded. These were the export models, which had quite a good spec. They had older bodies and they had Goto tuners. The blonde one is the older one. It's an E serial model, which means 1984 to 1987. Can't be more specific than that. And then the sunburst is an N series or N serial, which is 1993. So both very similar specs. Both got 6 saddle but barrel style bridges, which is nice. They've both got 5-hole pick guards, 3-way switching, decent electronics, ceramic pickups, decent fretwork. The main difference is in condition, really. The sunburst is going to need more work done to it. It's a decent quality in the guitar, but it's been neglected, so it's going to get my full detailed strip down and restoration work, and that's really what today's video is going to be all about.
So just to take a closer look then, so we've got a Squier Telecaster made in Japan by Fender, Silver Series, N serial number, and as you can see it's got sealed tuners. The nut is, I don't think, original, it's not well shaped. We've got a little bit of wear on the fingerboard itself, but the frets we'll have a look at once the strings are off. So maple neck, 21 frets, and I believe this is, I think it's an older body. They did do a domestic market version of this with a kind of compressed particle board body, but I'm fairly certain this is real wood, so we'll get into that and see. Standard Telecaster appointments, later style dome flat top knobs, and then we've got the 6 individual barrel saddles, which is a nice combination of intonatability and sort of classic Telecaster style. As you can see, it's a top loader bridge, 3 attachment screws as opposed to the 4 screws that you find with the Mexican guitars, and it's a bit grubby, but overall it's not bad. We've got some body damage here. We've got a 5-hole pick guard, so let's get this de-strung and then we can have a look and see what we're dealing with. So as you can see, we've got a bit of fret wear. It's not that bad, but it could certainly benefit from a level crown and polish, so that's one of the things that we're doing as part of the work. The other thing that's interesting in this one is that you can just see that the frets themselves are slightly inboard from the edge of the fretboard, which is interesting. I haven't seen that for a while. The frets themselves are quite nicely dressed, they're okay, and because they sit inboard like that, they're quite comfortable to play, I would imagine. You know, they're a bit like having a rolled neck. But I think the answer to why they're like that is that at some point in the past, this guitar has had fret sprout because of a change in temperature causing the wood to shrink, which then would have left the frets sticking out and given you quite uncomfortable sharp edges at the frets. Those have then been dressed and made smooth, and then over time the climate has changed again, and the wood has expanded back to where it would originally have been. So each fret is now sitting about, I'm going to say about 0.5 millimetre, I'm guessing, inboard, and that's why you get this effect. I've seen it a few times, not very often, but it might well be that this guitar has moved around a few times, because it's 1994, I think we dated it as, so it's 30 years old, so it's had some life in it. Nothing spectacular else to see here. Obviously we're going to strip the bridge and it's all pretty manky. The pickups are pretty manky, and having tested them, the bridge pickup doesn't work at all. The controls are kind of grubby and scratchy. Now they would probably respond reasonably well to cleaning, but it's all a bit crackly and it doesn't feel very nice. So the work that I've agreed with the customer is that I'm going to pull these pickups and replace them with a set of new ones, which are these Tone Rider Hot Classics. So these are some of my favourite Telecaster replacement pickups. Really nice pickups, slightly overwound, got a bit of beef to them, and nice and cheap. Nicely made as well, which you'll see when I take them and open them up to fit them. And then the other thing is that I've got a new new wiring kit to go in with CTS pots, orange drop, and switchcraft switch and output jack, and then cloth wire. So I'm going to give it a rewire, new pickups, as well as doing all the bodywork and all the network. So it's going to turn into a real nice guitar. But before I do any of that, then the first thing I'm going to do is get the neck off, get the body opened up, strip it down, give it a good clean, and sort out what components we're keeping and what's going in the bin. So on the neck we've got markings STLM, so with some brilliant detective work I'm going to deduce that that means Squier Telecaster maple neck. So it's a one-piece maple neck. We've got the skunk strike along the back. It's in decent condition. There is a ding just on the bottom of the headstock, and we've got these nice good quality Goto tuners, and one of which, the high E, is misaligned for some reason, so I'm going to have a look at that. And then we've got the markings in the neck pocket itself. We've got SQ, so Squier Telecaster. I'm assuming for maple, although I guess you probably could have got this with a rosewood board, not sure. It's a bit manky in there, but nothing untoward. Doesn't appear to be any cracks in the finish. I'll get in a bit closer with my light and make sure. Is that one there? I'm not sure. And just before I take the body out, you can see that, well, you might not see it, but I can certainly feel it, that the volume control has sprung. The pot is a bit goosed, it's moving around on its axis, and it feels very gritty. There's some bits where it stops. Tone control's okay. And the other interesting thing is we've got a wood screw of some description in the control plate, so some history there. Okay, so as you can see, we've got 30 years of dust and grime under that pickguard. Quite a lot of build-up around the surfaces, and in fact, I'm not sure whether it's grime or whether I'm just being an idiot and there's a screw that I can't find, but the bridge seems to be stuck. Normally it would only be attached by the screws at the back here, so it might just be that it needs a bit of gentle persuasion to come free. And then on the inside the electronics, so we've got small pots. As I said, the volume one isn't great, but they do look original. We've got the YM30 switches, are typical Japanese. It's okay. It was a bit crackly, it might clean up, but as I say, I've got a wiring kit anyway. Overall, it's much as what you would expect. The only question I have is I'll need to measure the control cavity and make sure it is actually big enough for CTS pots that I've got to go in. Otherwise, I'll need to just ease it a little bit. And here we go, naked Telecaster body. So, yep, it's actually not in that bad condition. So that's the strip down phase complete, and the initial clean. Just use a damp rag and water, nothing invasive at this stage. But mainly just to get everything tidied up and a bit more sanitary after 30 years of somebody else's crap. So I've got all the components which I'm going to be reusing in here. Top tip for guitar techs is keep everything in the Heroes box. That's really important. Now I know that it does force you to eat lots of chocolate, but unfortunately that's just something that you've got to do to be able to sort of do this job. And it's for the good of the guitars, and that's what I tell my wife. Anyway, so that's done. I've now got to get into going to do the rewire with these tone riders and this wiring kit, so that's what I'll do next. And then we're going to get into the neck. Now the neck itself is in pretty good shape. You've got some actual genuine playware here, and it's not all in the cowboy chords position, so you know, you would pay a decent chunk of money for that kind of relicking. So this is genuine patina on a 30-year-old guitar, so it's going to be really nice. So that's the body buffed and polished. Comes up nicely, and then next part of the process is to wax it, get a coat of protection on there. Just gives it a nice sort of glassy shine. So next up we're going to get stuck into the electronics. So this is the original small pots and standard Japanese switch. Actually these switches are pretty decent, there's nothing wrong with them. But what I'm going to do, because the rear pickup or the bridge pickup wasn't working, whether that's a pickup or not, the customer wanted to upgrade the pickups, so he's gone with Tone Rider Hot Classics, which are, in my view, one of the best affordable pickups you can get on Telecasters, and as a means of making a Squier outperform, they are definitely right up there. And then I've got a set of CTS pots, a standard Fender 4-way switch, and the orange drop. So I'm going to whack that lot in. I need to add an extra ground wire for the cover on the Tone Rider neck pickup, so that'll then be 4-way, and then that gives them an additional position 4, which is both pickups in series as opposed to in parallel, which is a very familiar mod for many of you. But basically it puts them in series in the same way as a humbucker does, so it gives a really beefy tone, which is an extra one, just a nice one to have in the guitar, that you can just whack it into position 4 if you're doing some lead work. That works really well. And if you're going to upgrade the wiring, to me it just makes sense to add the extra functionality anyway. So that's what I'm going to do next. So here's the control plate cleaned up with the CTS pots fitted. Squiers, they use smaller pots and they come with smaller shafts, so to fit CTS you have to drill out the hole a little bit wider in each case, which is I've done, and then added, because these are solid shafts, I've added new knobs as well, so these feel a lot nicer and look a lot more, well, a lot nicer anyway. I prefer the domed ones, but that's what I had in stock, so that's what the customer's getting. So I'm going to get this wired up and then we'll get it in. So here are the Tone Rider pickups, really nice quality, got a nice brass base plate on the bridge pickup. The only downside in this particular application is that the neck pickup is 2 conductor and we need 3 conductors for the 4-way pickups. So it's not a problem. Basically I just need to split this little connection here and then add an extra ground wire from here. This is the connection to the neck cover, and then I add that and then wire them in as normal. And there we go, all wired up and ready to go. Always looks a bit messy with the actual pickup wires, but everything's good, and then that will all be tucked out of the way, and a significant upgrade. So here is the moment of truth. So we should have bridge, volume, tone, okay, bridge and neck. Then we've got neck, no bridge, and then neck and bridge. So that's bridge only, middle, and then neck as normal Telecaster positions, and then this fourth position is in series. So that's all good. So we'll get her zipped up. Next is the bridge, garage stripped down and cleaned, and then onto the neck, and then we'll be done. But it's Christmas Eve, so that's as much as I'm doing for now. Merry Christmas. So next up, we'll strip down the bridge. I've had a go at loosening the saddles, and these are pretty well solidly gummed up there, so I'm just going to give them a little go of penetrating oil. And see if that gets us moving. Yeah, that gets us moving. The thing about bridges is they're always manky, because they're awkward to clean, and you know, even if you give your guitar a good wipe down when you're finished with it, you're not going to mess with the intonation and get in amongst the springs and so on, so they do accumulate and lots of sweat and gunk over the years. So usually you can save them, but I've had a couple that I've had to just replace because they were just too far gone, but no, this is fine. Here we go. Pretty manky, but that will clean up, hopefully. So there we go, the finished bridge. I've roughed in the intonation, but I'll set all that as part of the setup. But that's now degreased and then re-lubricated and reassembled and ready for another 30 odd years. So that's us in the home straight as far as the body's concerned. I'll just get these pickups in and set up, and then I'll get stuck into the neck. And there we go. So because this is a proper 50s style Telecaster, you set the pickup heights on the neck by screwing the body down onto the actual wood with the little rubber springs underneath it to adjust the height. So I won't be putting the guard on finally until I've done the setup. But this is now done and put to one side, and I'll crack on with the neck. So onto the fretboard. So the first thing I've done is just give them a very, very light rub with a very fine polishing wheel, just to get rid of all the crap off them. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just clean the board with some naphtha, just to get all the crap off it, and then that will help me be able to assess what needs doing, if anything, to the frets. I have to say they're in pretty good shape. There's a few divots, but very light ones, which probably you wouldn't feel, but let me just get it all cleaned up and then I'll get in close and have a look. So the board's in pretty good shape, but you can just see if you catch the light that there is a little bit of string wear on that second fret and a little bit on the first fret. That goes all the way down on the G string. So what we've got is got a little bit of wear on the second fret and the first fret, which is visible. We've then got some slight rocks further up and down, so 5th, 7th, 9th, 14th, 16th. That's enough that you'd spend more time spot leveling it. It's easier just to level the whole lot and do it properly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep it very light, take off the minimum amount of material that I can. It's nice fretwork on this. They are quite narrow frets in a sort of traditional style, and the edges are nicely done, so it's not going to take a huge amount, but this is going to be, it's so nice that I want to do it properly. So first things first is making sure that the fretboard is completely flat, and the trick is that you want the fretboard level, not the frets. The other good thing is that it shows that the truss rod is working. Yep. So now that the frets are perfectly level, we've got to get them back to putting a crown back on them. So there we go. So basically the process is we put some more red Sharpie on it, and then we use the crowning file, which basically takes off the shoulders and has got a smooth strip around it down the middle, so that it never actually takes the middle bit off, which means that you get a nice rounded fret, which then we're going to polish the tool marks out, and then that'll be done. So I'm going to work my way all the way down the fretboard and put them back to this state instead of this state, which is wide and flat, so they'll be much more smoothed over. So we'll come back when that's done. and there's the end result. So the wear has gone, all the frets have been levelled, crowned and polished, and then the neck itself has been polished and then waxed. So all good to go back onto the guitar. So home straight now, just cleaning up the tuners, then we'll get them mounted back on. And we'll have a look at the mounting holes because one of them was a bit squint. These are decent quality Gotos, which is a real bonus on, you know, these are decent, really good guitars, good quality components, nicely made. I can see why there's a collector's market for these Silver Series ones. Tuners are a little bit like bridges in that they're quite difficult to degrease, and they get very greasy in service, so it's nice to just give them a bit of a tidy up before I put them back on. This is the fun part when it all starts becoming a guitar again, as opposed to a collection of components. So the last thing I'm going to do before I set her up is just sort this nut out a little bit. It's a bit misshapen and looks like it's been hand cut with a pair of garden shears, but it is bone. It's clearly been replaced after it's left the factory at some point, so there's a good chance that it's okay. It didn't give me any issues before I took the guitar apart, so I'm going to try tidying it up, and I'll set it up with it, and then if it needs replaced, then I'll stick another one in, but I can certainly make it look a lot better than this. So there we have it, all done and ready to play. So here it is in all its glory. So we've got recut the nut, so that's now plays a lot better. I've set it up to just a little bit lower than Fender specs. It's about 1.5mm, just under. Because it's been levelled, it takes a nice low action, so that's okay. It's intonated, the relief is to Fender specs. So it's bridge pickup. Middle. Neck. And then both in series. It's got a nice bit of telly twang. And it's got a nice warm, rich neck pickup for leads. Yeah, pleased with this. I mean, these are decent pickups. Tone Writer Hot Classics, one of the best sort of sub £100 pickups you can get out there. Really good quality sound, very Telecaster, but not that expensive and good for what you get. So let's have a wee playthrough. Yeah, it does the rhythm bit, does the lead bit. Nice guitar seats, very impressed with this. So my customer who is getting this, he hasn't seen it yet, so he's ordered it off eBay, he sent it to me, I've given it a full going over, and I don't know, maybe he'll watch this on YouTube before he comes to pick it up, but if not, we'll see. I'm sure he's going to like it anyway. I think it's a really nice guitar. These are definitely up there with Mexican Fenders, no doubt about it. In terms of the quality, in terms of the the fretwork is better. I would say the neck is nicer. You know, it's everything but the name on the headstock. And if you can get one of these for a significant discount compared to a similar age and condition MIM, I'd be tempted to do it, particularly if you're not particularly bothered about the badge. Really nice guitar. Okay, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, hope you would like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon in the Guitar Shack.